So the bid to cover ratio 2.72 against 3.22 for the previous auction. How would you assess today's debt allocations?
Yeah, a little bit weaker. I think with all of this debt that has to be digested this week, that not a huge surprise that we got a little bit of a weak auction on some of the details. I think importantly, the market, the yield came in very close to what was expected at the time that the final bids were put in, right at 1 o'clock. So I would say it's a mixed result for this particular auction.
Would you say that the market is concerned about the U.S. fiscal outlook this year?
Well, clearly with this particular result, not very. It'll be interesting to see what happens, I think, later in the week, particularly with the 7-year auction on Thursday, because that's longer term and where you're going to have some fiscal, say, irresponsibility. That's going to show up in longer term yields and maybe a little bit of curve steepening. But, this particular result is saying, hey, we don't really expect yields to be significantly higher than we expected right before the auction over the next couple of years.
Ira, for those of us unlike you who don't follow these things really routinely, explain to me how you could have a lower demand and yet not have the yield go up. I would think actually that would drive the price down if you don't have as many people wanting them.
Well, you'd expect that, except at the same time, it was anticipated that yields would be a little bit higher in this particular auction. So the way that people set up for Treasury auctions is dealers and others assess what they think demand will be from end users that we call indirect bidders, such as foreign central banks and investment advisors and mutual funds. And if they think that demand's going to be weak, they'll go into the auction a little bit short or under the market. So they'll buy that back at cheaper levels. And so we were expecting around 2.25%. We got 2.255%, so a small tail there. And I think that just reflects the fact that people were set up very well for this auction.